Hey everyone, this is the X-Ray game number 2 from X-Ray World Rapid Chess Championship 2024. This is the game between Fabiano Caruana and Corrales Jimenez Fidel. In this game we will see a nice X-Ray a nice brilliancy from Fabi that could win actually the game and could cost the game for Fidel in this game. Corrales Jimenez Fidel. So here in this game, white is Caruana playing with white pieces and Corrales Jimenez Fidel is just playing black pieces. So let's jump into the game. Please don't forget after to give thumbs up and also comment on this video, and please also sub to the channel. That would be just very encouraging. So let's jump into the game and see what happens. We have e4 e5 and knight f3 knight to f6. So Fidel just tries the Petrov defense against Caruana. We have knight chapters, and you see, and I just guessed wrongly about that knight takes on e4 runs into the queen to e2, and after queen to e7 we just take, and here in this position white is just slightly better. So of course they know this, and so we have the move d6, and after knight to f3 now we just take the pawn on e4. So that's the opening. We have d4 from white from Fabi and d5, and so the purpose is that c4 and here is just coming, so we just actually prevent any d5 move from white. Okay, so that's why d5 is getting played, and after bishop to d3 we have knight to c6 and castles, bishop to e7, and knight bd2 is just getting played. So we are just in Petrov defense. White idea, white's actually goal is to try to get rid of this knight on e4. So that's why this knight jumps, and we have rook in the other moves. And so, okay, now Fidel just took himself on d2. We have bishop takes on d2 and bishop to g4. So pinning this knight to the queen. This is the relative pin. If you don't know relative pin, we can move the knight, but this, if it was the king, it was absolute pin, so we couldn't move the knight. So those are something very basic, so I'm just telling you. We have c3 because this knight, as I just said, is pinned, and if you play something like a3, then you are just hanging the pawn on d4, so black can just easily capture that pawn. So that's why c3 was played from Bobby to defend this pawn. We have just castle, h3, and bishop to h4 and g3. The purpose of g3 is maybe I want to play king to g2 to later be able to actually move my queen this way, or queen b3 or queen a4, which will actually be seeing the game is queen to a4. Okay, so after rook to e8, as I just said, king to g2 is just getting played here. So I just defend this knight by my king on g2, and I'm now free to play whether queen to b3 or queen to a4. So bishop to g6. Now actually Fidel just saw that this bishop is not doing anything in this diagonal, because the king is just successfully guarding the knight on f3. So he played bishop to g6. Bishop takes on g6. Takes on g6. It's not a good idea to take with the f pawn, because this diagonal is getting big, and you take the pawn that actually comes and manages to the center, attacks the center. Okay, not with this pawn to the side of the board. Okay, side of the board. After h takes on g6, we have h4 in the game. So here Fabi wants to execute this plan, and actually he did rook to h1 and trying to push this pawn, but he did actually rush about this. Later we see queen to d7, rook to h1, and queen to f5, and his plan is bishop to d6 to control this and this diagonal. And here, that's why bishop to f4 is just getting played to. If you plays now bishop to d6, now we just take, and these pawns are just doubled down. And this is a nice advantage for white if black plays it, of course. So after bishop to f4, rook a to c8 was played, but the knight to d8 was actually somehow better after queen to b1, because knight to e6 is just coming, and for example if you play passively like this, okay, then you must get in some trouble. If you of course move your bishop away, bishop d6 now comes now, and this is getting risky now, f6, and maybe for example this after b6, for example, now maybe you can play g5 in this position, okay? So knight to d8 was actually a better try by him, but he played rook a to c8. I should just notice after what happens after knight to if bishop takes on c7, knight to e6. If you don't have now this comeback, if you play something like this, then f6 will just be played, and your bishop is just will become right this way. Okay, so bishop to h5, and after b6, yes, and bishop takes b4, and now rook to h8, and now we have nice control. And rook to c2 is also threatened. Okay, so that's why. But here, Fidel just played rook a to c8, nothing very much wrong about it. It's just a human move. We see queen to a4. A better try was actually from Fabi was queen to b3, guys. Queen to b3, and here the best move for actually black is just to give up this pawn, brave it or not, because if you play something like b6 to defend, then we have just queen to b5, and for example, after knight, this, if you play this, then maybe I can play h4 this time, yes. And yeah, this is completely risky, so you cannot move your queen to defend this knight. And if you play knight to a5, then it's kind of risky, because after rook a to e1, now rook to e5 is just coming, and we just push. If you play something like f6 to prevent it, we have this decoy on bishop takes c7, because the queen is on b5. So if you take, I just take your rook on e8. Why taking on c7 was not possible? Because of this move a6. Okay, so a6 was just decoy move. Queen takes on b6, but here comes knight to c4, and after queen to a7, maybe knight takes b2 is possible here. But let's go back to the game. Here, Fabi played queen to a4, buddies. We have a6 and rook a to e1, f6, and queen coming back to d1. So queen didn't actually have any role, any job in this square on a4. So he just came back. Queen to d1 was just played here, and here Fidel just played actually dubious move, king to f7. Could have actually tried this idea again, knight to d8, and then coming knight to e6 this way, okay, to just knight to e8, knight to e6, and I mean, nice position here. And maybe later he could play h3 king to f7. Okay, after, for example, this bishop to c1, and maybe not king to f7 is just playable, but it's kind of again very risky to move your king. Bishop to d6, I think is much reasonable. Bishop d6, and maybe now we try c6, and we have just something like this. Yeah, okay, but actually king to f7 was played. In this position we have knight to d8 and knight to g4, and here and the threat is actually h5, and here Fidel just played knight to e6, but it was kind of late, and after bishop to c1, now what is the threat for this? Is the move h5, okay? And actually that happened in game. We have c6 now, but h5. So what's the point of h5 is that if you take, if you take my rook here, then knight e5 check, and this way you just losing your queen, okay? So after h5, bishop to d6 was played. A better try could be just bishop to f8, just to overprotect this pawn. So, and this square on h6. Okay, so if you now you just push it, then king to g8 is also possible, but g takes on h6 is also possible. Here after bishop takes h6, then knight to g7, maybe holding this position, but you should always take care about moving the bishop back, and here knight to force the king and the queen. But I believe maybe king to g8 could be another option which black should think of. But wait, in the game after the move h5, bishop to d6 was played, and here we see h6. So after knight to g5, here Fabi actually could miss. Actually, this is very deep actually indeed, and I don't really expect Bobby to find these sequences of moves in this situation. But we have seen in the game, here he played the rush move taking on g7, and actually nothing happened after that. And actually, which we will see which actually was the strongest move in this position, believe it or not, was bishop takes on g5. After queen takes on g5, this we have f4, and here he probably should actually see all of this, which is actually impossible in the rapid time management to just see all of this move sequences. We have rook takes. You can't take with the queen because you are just handing your knight on g4, so rotates, and after queen to h5, queen to e2, so coming this way to attack, and queen coming back to f5, so to defend this square we just take takes, and now offering queen exchange. So black cannot actually think of queen exchange because here we have and bishop to f8. Now this pawn is just hanging here, so rook to f8 just protects this, and maybe in future we have rook to f7 to protect, or just, but here rook f7 cannot be played. Oh, sorry, here we just hanging the queen, but here if rook f7, then we just take, and here we have this check, and we just fork. But now queen takes f5, and here I just say that's why Fabi would have actually had to have very deep understanding of this position. G takes on f5, then here knight to e3, king g3, and here we see rook Rook to h1 is possible here, but after h1, after this, now we are just threatening to here and take this pawn, and we would have a nice endgame and we could win. But that was very hard to just take on. Bishop takes on g5 and then you play this kind of moves. So, but Fabi just rushed and took on g7. I still he's having nice position here. H takes g7, but and that was much better if he could have won. The bishop takes on g5. We have knight to h6, so we're just hitting the queen here, and Fidel just goes back on bishop queen to d7. We just now take and play knight to g4. A better move for the would actually be queen to g4, offering queen exchange. Yeah, because these pawns are doubled. We have knight, and this bishop cannot do anything about this kind of a structure here. Queen takes g4, knight takes g4, rook takes e1, rook takes e1, king to f7, king f3, king g7, and now rook tries to infiltrate. If you go like this, then I would love to just take and knight to f6, and after here I just play. This is possible, but I don't really believe in it. Maybe knight to h7 and we are just attacking this pawn. And if you defend, I just attack it again, and this is just a lost position for black. But as I just said, knight to g4. Every human, of course, in this position plays knight to here, and here's a very nice threat in this position. He has this move after takedown just fork. Okay, so for example, if he plays like this, then rook h7, and then this is just losing for black. And that's why actually it was not possible. So knight to g4, rook takes on e1 was played, so nice understanding from Fidel, of course. And here again, rook cannot play queen takes on e1 because you are handing the knight on g4, so rook takes on e1 was played, and here offering roots coming to exchanges, and here Fabi just avoids and prevents any rook exchange by playing knight to e3. We have rook to e4, and here queen to d3. A better move, of course, could be again knight to f1 and trying to actually go to the endgame, which is actually a slightly better for white because of this unprotected pawn. If you tries to defend it, then knight to e3, and here comes. And here, if white manages to do something like this, for example, after here, now this is coming, and so this pawn will be gone, and also the game is gone. So, but Fabi didn't play knight to f1 this position. We have queen to d3, still nice, still black should be careful, and here in the game, he played at this moment played the blunder queen to e6, and he actually forgot that his rook can be trapped. If queen to e7, then nothing much doesn't matter much. Okay, the rook has the e6 square, but when queen to e6, pardon me, we have this pawn, and we just have this other handcuff, and after 8-8, so Fabi just understood this, and he played intermediate move 8-8 on b5. I still lost. 8-8 on b5, then we have f3, and bishop takes on g3. He's just hoping for Fabi to blunder. King takes on h3, rook h4, so this is now coming queen to h3, but it doesn't actually matter much. If, for example, Fabi plays like this, after queen to h3, here, the position is completely winning for white street. But knight to g3 now, so attacking this, rook to h3 check, king to f2, and here Fidel just tries his best, but it's too late and he cannot do anything much about this position, and this is completely lost for him. We see queen to e6, so now we are just threatening to exchange queens, and here the problem comes even gets much worse. After queen straight and king f6, we see just rook coming back to defend this pawn, and king check, king to g1, nice move, and here Fidel just tries to push the pawn, and here we see a nice tactic from Fabi which converts the game, and after of course this, and here we just trade rooks and we are not up, we are an exchanger, and we are a piece up actually, and we can just win this game very easily. So hope you enjoyed this video. Please give the thumbs up if you like this, and please also comment. That would be just very encouraging. If you haven't subbed to the channel, please sub to the channel. This will just give me a lot of energy. So see you next time. Bye for now.